The first sound I ever heard was a scream. Not the joyful cry of a newborn, but the terrified shriek of my mother. It was 1995. Our small village, nestled in the lush hills of Rwanda, echoed with the sounds of war. Gunfire rattled the tin roof of our hut. The air was thick with the stench of smoke and fear. I was born into chaos, a twin clinging to life alongside my brother. My early memories are a blur of terror and confusion, faces etched with worry, frantic whispers in the dark. The constant fear of the unknown. My mother, her eyes red-rimmed and filled with a sorrow I was too young to comprehend, clutched us tightly. We were her world, her reason to survive in a world gone mad. One memory remains vivid, a flash of blinding light, a deafening roar, then silence. A silence heavier than the screams, more terrifying than the bombs. It was the silence of absence, the silence that stole my brother, leaving me alone in a world that had already taken so much. They found his tiny body amidst the rubble, a small, still figure, my twin, my other half, gone. My mother wept, her tears a mixture of grief and relief. Relief that I, at least, had been spared. I was too young to understand death, but I felt the weight of her sorrow, the emptiness that had become our constant companion. We fled our village, joining the thousands of refugees seeking safety. I clung to my mother, her warmth the only solace in a world turned cold. The faces around me were etched with the same fear, the same loss. We were a caravan of the broken, haunted by memories we could not outrun. The world shrunk to the few feet around me, the rough texture of my mother's dress, the dust that clung to our skin, the gnawing hunger in my belly. Each day was a struggle for survival, a desperate fight against the despair that threatened to consume us. But my mother, fueled by the memory of my brother and the will to protect me, refused to let us drown in sorrow. The truck rumbled to a stop, kicking up a cloud of dust that stung my eyes. We had reached the border, a chaotic mass of humanity, all seeking the same thing: refuge. After what felt like an eternity, we crossed over, leaving behind the land of my birth, the ghosts of my past. We were in Kenya, a land of unfamiliar tongues and scorching sun. The refugee camp was a stark contrast to the rolling green hills of my childhood. Rows of tents stretched as far as the eye could see, a sea of canvas and desperation. The air was thick with the smell of smoke, sweat, and despair. But amidst the hardship, there was also a glimmer of hope, the kindness of strangers, the resilience of the human spirit. We were safe for now. But safety was a relative term. The trauma of our past followed us, casting a long shadow over our present. The nightmares began, vivid and unrelenting, the fear of loud noises, the constant need to be close to my mother. These were the scars that war had left on my soul. Growing up in the camp was a study in contrasts. There was laughter, the unbridled joy of children playing in the dirt, their faces lit up by fleeting moments of happiness. There was community, a shared sense of loss and resilience that bound us together. But there was also hardship, the daily struggle for food, water, and a future that seemed forever out of reach. I learned to navigate this new world, to speak a new language, to dream in a language that was not my own. I made friends, their laughter a balm to my wounded spirit. But the ghosts of my past lingered, the memory of my brother, the terror of that night, the guilt of survival. These were burdens I carried silently, hidden behind a facade of normalcy. The camp, for all its hardships, became my sanctuary, a place where my pain was understood, my story not unique. But as I grew older, so did my longing for a place to truly belong, a place where I could escape the confines of my past and build a future free from fear.